in the big Bilge tank.
We'll keep you in the know
In the big Bilge tank, we'll fix your techie woes, and we'll break things and we'll make things till we're all together raking, and we'll raise a cup of grog down in the big Bilge tank. In the big Bilge tank, come and join our pirate crew. In the big Bilge tank,
We will show you what to do.
and we'll hack it till we crack it, and we'll tell the world about it and forget to tidy up. That's why it's now a Bilge tank.
Hello! Welcome to Bilge Tank 089. Today we'll be talking about turning things on and off, and also building an Annoy-O-Tron.
Yeah.
Sandy has been
It's my
going through
invention.
a diverse array of annoying sounds to make your Annoy-O-Tron as annoying as possible.
Cool. So what we got?
What
We've
fun.
got pepperoni
Oh, yeah.
branded aprons on. They're actually
That would make a good
our
apron.
shiny new tote bags.
It's almost the right colour for my t-shirt, actually.
in,
Yeah.
in a range of fetching colours.
Yeah, they come in 6 different colours. They
They're
are
vibrant, they're very nice.
perfectly strong for a lot of gear. So carrying rice back from the shops to the ship and all that. Yeah,
Right.
hooker.
Check that out. It's nice.
Yeah. They're actually slightly more cyan than they seem on the internet. But yeah,
More cyan.
cool.
We'll do a close up.
So have a get.
Why
Let's
not?
do a close up. Yeah, let's do a stitch count on them, shall we?
Let's tilt the upside down.
This is clutching at straws.
Oh, look at that.
There we go.
Yeah, that's really
Lovely
cute.
artwork by Lydia.
Yep.
And this is similar artwork to the stuff that's on our mailing bags and our new shipping boxes.
Oh, that looks such a quality print.
Yeah.
Locally printed here in the Sheffield as well.
You can notice the alliteration there as well.
You can actually stitch count. That's really quite amazing.
Yeah, it focuses when it wants to on the
It's got
stuff
nothing
that
else
you
to
don't-
focus on.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay, right. So that's cool.
Full camera.
The other thing we're introducing this week, we're kind of introducing a new product we've been talking about, but also introducing a whole class of products that we've been tentatively moving towards. But this is where the launch happens.
Oh, have we got enough to call it a product category now?
Yeah, it's a new category. So
Yay!
without further ado, and if Sandy could focus by taking out the cork underneath, oh, there we go.
Got it.
We introduce, ta-da, the on-off shim.
It's a shim that turns turns your pie on and off.
Does exactly
Yeah.
what it says on the shim.
It's a kind of hardware-software
Does
balance. Hardware turn on, software turn off safely for your Pi. And it's dead cheap. What's the price on it?
£5, I think.
Is it a £5? Can't be that
Yes.
cheap,
We've
surely.
got it. Hang on.
We've got it on the
We
internet.
have a shop.
As a 404 not found.
Switch. There we go.
£5
5 squid.
£5.
as opposed to £6.
Yeah.
Where you
this
need to
is
give
like
us some
a-
medicine.
You know, you can get those cables that have an inline switch on them to turn your pie on and off.
Yeah.
They're all well and good, but they will just turn your pie off and it will go straight down
Yeah.
with no soft shutdown or anything. On-off shim asserts a GPIO pin when you press the button, and a software daemon which is taken from Rogue's Clean Shutdown. We're going to use Rogue's Clean Shutdown because it's super nice, it does the trick.
Yeah.
Build a little bit up on that. And it will watch the GPIO pin. When the GPIO pin goes low or high or whatever it is that it goes, it will issue a proper sudo shutdown, etc., to properly cleanly shut down the Pi, unmount everything, make sure it's nice and dandy. And then there's a little script that lives in lib systemd system shutdown, and that script at the very last minute after the file system's been unmounted, it triggers a GPIO pin, which changes a latch on-off shim to actually cut the power completely, so your Pi is totally powered off.
Yep.
And that resets the button latch, which then becomes a button that powers the Pi back on. So it's hard power on, soft power off, which is
Yeah.
the same thing we use on Pi K-Tags.
We've even got the little labels on the buttons there pointing to the GPIO pins.
Pin labels.
Ah,
So basically you pull BCM4 low, it turns the power off, it cuts the power. So that will happen even if your Pi is running. So
so you
yeah,
can make
don't
you
do
make
that.
the Pi blow its brains out.
Basically, yeah,
Yeah.
you have a GPIO pin that you can assert for terrible things to happen.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to press the button, yeah.
Is it easy
like-
to move the button though?
Move the button.
Now, what do we have there?
See, the eagle-eyed among you may have
The eagle-eyed and those of you with myopia.
spotted in the
The inability. Button.
There's a BTN header. That is for the button. If you bridge a switch across that, you can put an external button wherever you like.
So an arcade button would be the
Arcade
perfect kind of
button,
thing.
yeah.
Why have we not soldered an arcade button to this demonstration, Sandy?
Because we don't want to do everything for people. We want to leave
True,
something for
I
people
was
to do.
literally working on the software until
Focus.
minutes
You've got the
ago.
cork in the background. It's not going to focus while it's got cork in the background.
There we go.
Cork is just too damn
Put it
interesting.
on the cork and lift the cork up.
There we go. I've
with
got
the
it.
ball
I've
on.
got it.
So this also introduces shims. We've talked about shims, and it's been used before,
Yeah.
but we found a forced backronym. So we've got zero lipo, but it's not for the zero, it's for everything. So we wanted a name that reflected everything. So what we have the prototype of, and what will replace the zero lipo when we've run out of stock of that.
Is drum roll, please.
Da-da-da-da.
So many shims.
Lipo shim.
Life potion.
So it's almost identical. Couple of components moved.
More
Yeah.
pins.
Headers. The header is kind of a bit more standardised, so it's
Yeah.
6x2, and it's going to be black in the final form. But now we're saying shim stands for shove hardware in middle, in true Yorkshire style. Or if you want to be classy, you can say slide hardware in the middle. But both of them, that's what shim stands for.
Slot.
Slot hardware in the middle, yeah. And we supply a header with these, but if you don't use the header, you can have it directly on the Pi Zero.
Let's do a demo.
Go on.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Grr.
There we go.
So you can have it directly on the Pi Zero like that, and have it between a hat or fat.
Or you can get
And-
creative and stick it on the bottom of your sound client.
Let's
but
do
Oh,
it.
yeah,
mirror
yeah.
it. Don't mirror it.
So you need to solder it to make it work properly, and you have to be careful not to
Yeah.
have big towers of solder. But
that's,
then
that's the kind of
you end up with a really nice slim sandwich.
yeah.
I think with some really creative, nasty soldering, you could actually put on off shim directly underneath the Pi as well.
Yeah, you could. We've got a couple more shims in the works. They're at prototyping stage. We have wide input shim, which will take 6 to 17 volts on a barrel jack into your Pi, and we have LiPo charge shim, which will be LiPo with a charging circuit as well.
How's button shim?
Hey, button
yeah,
shim as
button
well.
shim.
Another one.
Yeah, which is the one that's going to be a bit like Friedrich van der Bosch.
Van der Bosch, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's like that, but with surface mount right ankle.
we had a case
Right
of what
angle.
parallel invention, I think, there, didn't we?
Yeah, well, putting buttons outside the hat fat area is something that anyone who does enough with Pi, which Friedrich does,
Yeah,
will come up with.
eventually want to.
And he's going to put this on sale because it's got tack switches that go upwards.
Yeah, I quite
Which
like
we've
that
got-
design. Yeah,
we've got right angle
totally
things.
different angles.
Yeah.
Michael's asking if we've added anything to lipo shim. Like we just said, we're going to do a separate lipo charge shim.
LiPo charge shim will be LiPo shim with charge.
Yeah.
It'll be a chunk more expensive, but still very affordable.
No,
Yeah.
must be a delay.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
15-second delay.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, we're going
been
to
on
do a
for
little demo of the on-off shim.
Right.
So we've got slightly complicated
So
system.
the,
Hey, it works. Don't knock it.
Let's move everything
Go
over.
away.
Oh, sweet.
Your test leads are much less flaky than mine.
Okay, so what we have is we have
Oh, that's not even in the shot.
we have
Good job, me.
Pi Zero W with a ribbon cable, GPIO ribbon cable. We've got a mini black hat hacker with the on-off shim connected. We've got a power supply plugged into the on-off shim, so that's kind of key to the way the on-off shim works. Is the power is actually routed through on-off shim, so you can cut the power completely by doing that. So you don't plug the power supply into your Pi anymore; you plug it straight into the shim.
Yeah.
okay.
We also have a multimeter hooked up. So at the moment the Pi is powered off. So you can see there's no activity light lit up there. When I press the button on-off shim, you'll see the LED comes on briefly. And you can see the activity LED is blinking away.
And
and
the
the-
Multimeter's like, yay!
The
I have
voltage
the
has gone up
box.
to about 5 volts. So that's the Pi booting up.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we've got a couple of bits of jumper jerky just hooked up to the other set pins to measure the voltage across the 5 volt and ground pin.
okay.
Cool.
There we go.
So that now should have
So you're waiting for it to boot up so it
Yeah.
can start the demon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can shut it down again.
We'll just wait for the LED to kind of
So
go.
is this with my SD card in it?
Yeah,
Okay, so you need to hold the button down for 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Give or
okay.
take, because it's on a 2-second poly
Yeah.
loop. So between 2 and 4 seconds.
Okay.
This tries to be not particularly aggressive about
Right,
its
let's try it now. Right, so if I
Hold
press
that
the
sucker
button
down.
and hold it for a couple of seconds,
Release.
and then release.
See, you have to do the release stage, otherwise it can't insert the LED. It doesn't like you. Maybe it just doesn't work.
Oh, the green light's lit, so maybe it's still booting up even.
There's also that.
So if it's got to start the desktop as well, it's going to take a while on 0W.
It is still blinking away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, David. Come on.
Has it got full ACP? Can we make the demon do full ACPI? So if you hold it for 4 seconds, it'll just kill it dead.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kill switch.
I think you should refer back to your software, Sandy.
Yeah.
I may have neglected to
Actually, I need that. I'll go and get that
comment
SD card.
the
I need it
shutdown
anyway
bit.
first.
Fine. So what can we do while Sandy's not
Live
around?
demos.
Yeah.
What we got to show off? Anything new on the shop other than shims?
I don't know. Let's
Let's have a new category. Let's wing it.
yeah. If I can get this to show up.
We'll wing
Everything's
it like
going
the
wrong.
birds.
Oh yeah. There we go. New.
Stuff.
Sorry, I'm listening to too much Limor Freed now. she has infectious little memes. So we've got the Espruino Wi-Fi and SparkFun Audio Mote Shield and SparkFun Balanced Audio Breakouts.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, they're
And
utilitarian
of course,
stuff.
The tote bag.
And the on-off shim. Right, are we good? Are we
Yeah,
good, Sandy?
Right, take 2.
Back to the close-up.
Right, so the meter's gone back to about half a volt, so that's the kind of idle voltage.
That's what happens when you change the
Let's
software. The last
press
minute.
again.
So that's the hardware switch on.
Boom.
Cool. Blinky blink blink
Activity
blink
light.
blink blink blink.
Wait a few seconds.
I love the activity light and those screws, how it lights up the screw. It illuminates the screw to make it a big
blinky
a big indicator. Is it booted yet?
Not quite yet. Well, it might just be about there now. Let's try. Right, so now this is a slightly older version of the software, so if I just press it once, then it should hopefully kick off the
Oh, there was blinky
shutdown
lights.
sequence.
And now it's blinky, blinky, more blinky.
There we go.
That looks like it could well be shutting down.
So, so because this is a clean shutdown, it basically does all of the necessary things.
Whoa, there it
we
goes.
go.
Woo 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 woo. Right, it's the transporter beam switched off.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the cap is discharging.
Yep.
Cool.
So it should go back down to about 500 milliamps again, which I think is the kind of idle voltage.
Cool. Millivolts.
Yep.
Cool.
There we go.
Right. Working as intended.
Yeah, millivolts.
So we can blame Phil's software there.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. That you finished off 10 minutes before the show.
You're not meant to tell them that.
Oh, they know how we are.
Cool.
If you aren't living on the edge, you're taking up too much room, and also have poor detection for signals. Oscilloscope jokes.
Terrible.
Cool.
Right.
So, more questions. Are you getting any more Cortec tiny four-wheel drive robots? They should be coming back. Yeah, we're cutting new chassis sometime this week. Yeah, and hopefully Brian's getting his act together to do kind of his own shop with stuff as well, so you can get custom colours and things. And can you do an audio shim? An audio shim would be possible. I think with this, it would only have a 3.5mm jack in it, so it's the only thing that's small enough.
I guess this would be a DAC-based audio shim, but there was
Yeah.
something recently for the Pi Zero where someone designed a basic circuit for filtering and
Oh.
outputting the audio on that as well.
Yeah, they were just recreating the Pi 3 audio circuit,
Basically, yeah.
which is
For
the
Zero.
because the Pi 3 uses I think BCM18 for the PCM audio, and then a filter circuit.
Yeah.
And you can recreate that on the Pi Zero to do audio that way. Yeah, but it's kind of good audio. It's Delta Sigma audio output, and they reckon it's about CD quality. But the DAC audio is generally a jump better. Really, I'd use the fat DAC for kind of one of the USB audio things for the kind of cheap end of stuff. And somebody's asking about a motor shim. A motor shim could be cool. Yeah. Just basic motors, no ultrasonic stuff. Yeah.
Just simples. Just we got a dinky H bridge, haven't we? The DRV 8830 or 8833.
Yeah, we use it all over the place. We might have better ideas though than a motor shim for the Pi Zero, especially. When are we getting USB stems back in stock?
A couple of weeks, I think. Maybe the end of next week, possibly the beginning of the week after. They are in progress. We are working on it.
Alistair's taking care
we
of
are making Alistair work on it.
Yeah. He's working. He's like a swan, just flapping away under the surface. And they'll arrive, and at the moment we think they'll pretty much go out of stock within a day or so. But there's already a waiting list of like 200, 300 people or something of that ilk. And people just kind of saying, "Where can I get USB shims?" Yeah, the USB stems. Cool.
Right.
Okay,
so
on to the main deal.
Right. So this is the not patented Annoy-O-Tron 8000. So the idea is it's basically a Pi Zero or Pi Zero W. It's easier with the W because when you're installing everything, then it just makes it easier than having to plug in a USB Ethernet adapter and a cable and all that malarkey, or a Wi-Fi dongle.
Yep.
It's got a speaker fat on it and a USB stem, back in stock soon. And the idea is that you can, it's a covert device that you can stick in a USB slot in the back of someone's computer or the back of someone's telly or something like that. And it basically plays a kind of beeping noise at random intervals, or any other noise of your choice.
I suppose you can Wi-Fi connect into it while it's running, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Theory,
to
and
change the sound.
And do all sorts of evil trolley things.
Yeah, so it's a fun little project, and it shouldn't take too long to put together. So we're going to attempt to do all of the soldering and software live on air. So
Cool.
Phil is going to. We've got the Zero W here with a fresh
See, you've got me
Raspbian Jessie Lite SD
SD.
card in it.
Cool.
So Phil is going to plug that in.
So what do you want me to set up is the ultimate
So
question.
firstly, set the Wi-Fi up.
Okay. That's
Secondly, run the speaker fat installer.
Yes.
So speaker fat requires the installer to be run to route the audio out and to install a plug-in for the VU meter. So Phil is going to do that part. We also need Pygame installed.
Pygame?
Yep. Pygame is what's going to play the audio file through Python. It's just the easiest way to do it. While Phil's doing that, I'm going to solder together speaker fat.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I'm going to answer some more questions. So I've just thought, well, the audio shim is probably a bad idea. Imagine you've got a GPIO header on the Pi like that, 40 pins. Your power pins are over here. Your I2S audio is all the way over this other side. So a shim would be pretty much the length of a hat. Get a fat DAC. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. But motor shim would be pretty damn cool, as long as we can find a good place to put the wires for the motors out. But I think 0.1 headers would probably be best. The connection doesn't need to be that robust, but we might have a better idea there. Okay, so what other ideas we got? USB shims going to Micro Center. I don't think Alice's got enough to satisfy Micro Center, which is a raging beast of desire for Raspberry Pi stuff at the moment. A Black Hat Hacker shim for multiple shims. The shims are not really designed to cross over functions so much. In particular, the on-off shim and something like the LiPo shim will play badly with each other. They all tend to deal with power, by and large, and therefore they're all fighting for control of the power supply. Therefore, they don't really cross with each other. They're there just to solve your particular problem, generally. The buttons that go well with the other ones.
I think we did actually talk about a mini black or a micro Black Hat Hacker shim.
Yeah, that's prototyping.
That basically just
Offsets.
kind of breaks out the the GPIO to the kind of outside of the Pi.
Yeah, so that's prototyping.
Yeah.
We've also got some extra black hat hackers that do kind of multiple hats and fats in various cool ways, which would be cool.
Yep.
Yeah. ADC shim, that would also be a good one.
Text. Oh, God.
Oh, okay, there you go. How about that? Is that better? Slightly chunky. Yeah. Cool. So I'm particularly excited about the kind of multiple hat hackers, variations on the black hat hacker that just allow insanely more hats to be connected.
So you could do cool things like have a drum hat, a piano hat,
idiot.
and a speaker fat all connected up.
Getting it right.
Yep.
To something like a Pi Zero, so you've got like a little mini synth setup,
Yeah. Like a
Um,
nice little
mini-
audio setup.
one-man band.
What?
Yeah.
I'm such an idiot.
Right, so
You're right there, Phil.
I was trying to be clever by using SCP to copy over a pre-existing WPA supplicant.conf
Yeah.
to this.
I think
Pi.
what we're seeing is people are kind of keen on shims. So, Sandy, you've got progress.
yeah, so what I've done is I've put 4 little black screws through the front of the speaker fat. I've secured them with 4 nuts, and then it's just a matter of if I can actually get it. Slotting the speaker over the
You have to
screws.
put the password in here.
Um,
Hang on one moment.
so that's
while I
me
just
put the
hide that
speaker
from
on.
you.
I've made sure that I've,
You just made it.
I've,
Sorry, Sandy. I'm so sorry.
I've lined up the pads on. Yeah, I've lined up the pads with each other so I can solder the wires.
Are they gone? They're definitely
I
gone.
just give up. It's gone. It's gone. You can put the Wi-Fi password in now.
Sabotage. So now I'm just screwing the other nuts on to secure the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing I'll do is I'll solder the 2 little wires. So speaker fat comes with about 5 cm piece of just bare wire. So the idea is you basically chop that bit of wire in 2, and then use the 2 bits of wire to bridge these 2 pads to each of the 2 pads down there. So I will do that now. I'll just get my pliers.
Cool. So David Lauder is saying off shim is great, but it misses the reset function. It really misses the reset function by design. There's a perfectly good header you can connect a button to for the reset function. We don't want to mess with that. You're on your own there. If the Pi is stuck anyway, then you need to look into the watchdog timer on the Pi, because it does have a watchdog for if your Pi has crashed completely, it will reset it. Cool. But yeah, if we wanted to tap into the reset, we'd have to stretch all the way across the Pi for a header that is there already if you want to tie into it.
Okay,
Cool.
so a slight warning, don't do what I'm about to do.
What are you about to do?
So actually I'll do it slightly safer way. So because this is a bare piece of wire, obviously when you hold it to the pad and then solder it, it's going to get hot. So if you're holding it with your fingers, then you may burn yourself.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the little rubber band that attaches the speaker to the fat to hold the bit of wire so that I don't burn my fingers.
It's not a bad idea because that is silicone.
Yeah, so that should. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really get that hot.
But it will conduct a lot better than copper braid. So.
Yeah, but it will get hot quickly, so it might be kind of unexpected as to how.
So far been
quickly it gets
unsuccessful
hot.
at connecting to the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Never mind though, it's got Ethernet.
Yeah, it's got Ethernet. We're cheating.
Worry about Wi-Fi last.
Is it working, Sandy?
Updating.
Soldering fail.
Yeah.
Probably
You're
soldering.
only
faster
heating
than
the wire, Sandy. Why are you not heating the pad as well?
There we go.
Bad Sandy.
Right, I'm just going to add a little bit more solder, and it's probably going to fall off when I do that. What I'll do is I'll just add a bit of solder to the tip of the iron.
Yeah, it's a new tip, isn't it? So it hasn't been tinned.
Yeah, and then I'll just hold the wire again and just add that extra bit just to really secure it. Yeah, of course it's all got sucked onto the tip now because it's, like Paul said, it's not been tinned yet.
It's a hungry tip. Soldering, it's an art.
Updating.
Hey, that looks a lot better. Looks nice, nice and embedded.
Right, so that's one.
Cool.
Uh,
So you snipping that wire in half, or
Yeah, I've snipped the wire in half already.
okay?
Yeah,
Oh, then trim it down later.
yeah
I'm with you. Oh, you've got your Leatherman squirt there, haven't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Still my favourite little mini tool ever.
Yeah, it's great. Fits really nicely in your pocket and it's so handy.
Yeah. The ones with the wire strippers with the gauge on them are beautiful as well. They're still my favourite wire strippers because they're simple and really well made.
I'm going to actually add a little bit more to
Where does it end,
Right, there we
Sandy?
go. Cool. Right, so that's that done. So now basically just bend those wires down to the pads on the... Or... Oh,
Has that just come off, or is it actually snapped?
it's just come off.
Okay. So it just wasn't properly welded. to
It
the
may
solder.
help to add a little bit of flux to your wire if you have it.
Cool. Yeah, do it off screen, Sandy. Then nobody can critique your technique.
SSHing in to change the Wi-Fi password.
Um,
What have I done wrong with WPAsupplicant.com? I really don't know.
Right. Are we just waiting for this to finish installing?
Yes, yeah.
I'll see if I can zoom in that console so you can follow Phil, obviously, and shadow his every move.
so, yeah. So what I've done now is I've just added a bit of solder to the to each of the pads on the fat.
What I'm doing now is Googling WPAsupplicant.com.
What's the problem, Phil?
I've forgotten the precise syntax.
It's
of
Oh, network
network equals
open brace.
open
that
curly
much.
open curly brackets, and
New
then
line.
SSID equals
Got that.
Password
open quotes.
It's PSK equals, and then
Ah.
it's key underscore management, or is it key dash
You
management?
don't
You don't
actually
need
need
that.
you don't need all that.
You don't need any of that,
All you-
generally. Unless you go into some weird corporate network. Like
Um,
cut Phil in half with the screen.
Cut me in half.
Yeah.
I'm
I've
still
eliminated myself. so
Wearing the SD card of shame.
Look at that.
Right,
I
so
can
that-
do like ad hoc wipe effects here.
that's all soldered now. We don't have a pair of snips, do we, handy?
No, you're gonna have to try and use your pliers.
Just use my. As long as I get
Eyeball it.
yeah,
It'll
as
be
long,
fine.
as long as I get most of the excess off, then it'll be okay. Right, so that's that done. So now I'll just quickly solder the female header onto the fat.
Okay.
So let's do that really quickly. So, so the key thing when you're doing this is make sure you solder the header on the right side of the fat. Some people do actually do that on the wrong side.
Well, it's that thing that's common knowledge to people in Pi World, but if you're coming new to it,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Wireless LAN.
Nate spotted that we're doing software and hardware simultaneously, which is basically madness.
Oh, this is a curiously blank screen. Look on this.
Yeah, you're not going to see anything there. Sorry.
Is it cropped?
So we've
Yeah.
kind of covered this before, but you basically touch your soldering iron to the pin and the PC the copper on the PCB around the hole, and then just touch your solder and hold it for a second to let it flow in. When you've done the first pin, make sure that the header is perpendicular to the board. If it's not, then you can just hold it and touch your iron against the pin until it kind of aligns properly. What I tend to do is do the top left pin and then the bottom right one just to kind of anchor the whole header in to begin with, and then you can just kind of like whiz through all of the other pins. So
Sure, that's
Cool.
cropping the top of my screen.
Yes, it is.
Why is it doing that?
So people on the internet can actually read it.
Oh.
I can reset it. If you like.
It's all right. Leave it how it is for now.
Okay. I just thought we'd have the important bit.
Let's
As long
just
as
go
you
through all
don't,
the installer.
as long as you don't edit any files, you'll be fine.
I just need to install
Cool.
install anything while it's installing stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to be patient.
Yeah. So, been up to anything interesting this weekend? Old chap,
Oh no,
you better have an SD card on your forehead.
it's the SD card of
Why?
shame.
Okay.
Because the software didn't work. So
Okay.
Blue's acted to my forehead. A, so I don't lose it, and B, so
You remember.
I remember. I'll have that feeling on my forehead for the rest of the day, and it'll be the feeling of don't mess up the software 10 minutes before Bilge.
So, so have you run the full installer there, Phil?
No, I've said no to the full install and said
okay.
just run the regular install to see if
That's-
it works. So it's
yeah,
still
that should
installing lots and lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Should
it
be
installs
okay.
all the stuff you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're installing Pygame separately. So
You really
it should-
just need it to make sound, don't you?
when you install Pygame, it's best to do, rather than pip install,
Do it, yeah.
do an apt-get install
apt-get.
Python-Pygame.
So it is a what do you call pre-compiled version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do not want to reboot my system.
Cool. Yep.
So
Right.
that's the header just about soldered. So once Phil has installed all of the software, then we'll solder the header to the Pi Zero, and then
Cool.
solder on the
Next
USB
question is-
stem.
do you have the script that makes it do the things?
Yeah, I'm going to live code it.
Live coded.
Madness.
I've got it written down on a bit of paper
Outrage.
in truly old-fashioned
I
style.
have to point out that the one thing you missed is putting a header on this Pi
Well, I was going to do that after.
Yeah.
I was going to. I thought because the software installs the kind of long-winded bit,
Yeah,
I thought
it
we'd
is.
build
Doesn't
the
need to
speaker fat while you were doing that.
Very
Yep.
long-winded.
But I'm just too fast for you.
How can I test the software?
So that's the header solder.
That's beautiful. A thing of beauty indeed.
Focus.
It's not happening. Sit it on the corkboard and lift the corkboard up.
Oh, I think you're just a bit
I've
too
got it
close
Yeah,
there.
too close.
Yeah, but the bag focused when it was basically.
I suppose it
next
did,
to
yeah.
The lens, so the camera's just being annoying.
It does get annoying sometimes, yeah. And you have to turn it off and turn it on again.
I don't want to focus. Go
There you
away.
Still not focusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's all soldered up.
Cool.
The wires where it's connected, where it's soldered to the pads on the fat aren't very neat. The best way is if you use a pair of like flush snips
Mm-hmm.
to basically cut them flush to the board. But what I've done is I've just kind of bent them up so they're not going to short against anything down here. Any
People
of the
have
components.
noticed that you're not using hammer headers.
Yeah, I thought I would do it the old-fashioned way.
Is that because you didn't want people to hear nothing but
Yeah, exactly.
sorry
yeah,
headphone
yeah.
users, but that's basically the experience you would have had.
Um,
The microphones are about an inch from the surface of the desk, and I imagine sound carries pretty well.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of compression on there, but not that much. Cool. So now we're watching apt work.
actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to.
The least exciting thing in the world.
I've got another 0W here, so I'm going to start soldering the header on.
Do you want to swap
that,
seats?
on that
I'll
one.
have a go at the soldering now. Yeah.
Ooh.
This
like
is
a-
a
it's like
bit of a
challenge.
race thing, isn't
Competitive,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine, it's different headers, it's receptacle and socket, so...
That's a hammer header that's in there, but you can solder it anyway. Just to.
Okay,
That means you need to have a go at
Wait.
making a total hash of the picture-in-picture.
but there's a hammer header, so it's already in there. I win.
Done!
Cool. Okay, so that was anticlimactic.
Aww.
But yeah, I suppose people ask, can you solder a hammer header? So yeah, let's try that. So I'm going to clean my head. So you've got it set to 350 here.
I can't see
What would you
everything.
normally go for?
It depends on the solder.
270.
270, I go
Yeah.
for 280 normally, even with the lead-free stuff.
Yeah.
I've got leaded at home because I like to live dangerously.
It's
Although it's really not that dangerous.
Yeah, it's probably more important with the male headers because if you heat them too much, then the pins can kind of go all wonky because basically the plastic on the header melts and the pins kind of go all over the place, and then it makes it really hard to get any hats or fats on.
Mhm.
You have to be pretty determined, but we saw that happen at Mayfair Berlin, didn't we, where people had these ridiculous chisel tip soldering irons that we had to borrow.
Yeah.
And
The
Yeah.
chisel will be
they-
good because this one's a thin one and it's
they
Not
made a
playing nicely.
mockery of the headers.
See, I like the needle tip points. I much prefer them to the
it's
chisel
really
tips.
hard to get it onto the pad. The heat.
Oh, there we go.
I find.
Sand berry dack. The question
Yeah.
is, can we fudge this out onto the pie to check that sound does in fact work?
Yeah, this is
Do you want to swap back?
I think I just made it crash. It made an alarming chirping noise as I put it on and then rebooted.
Wait, what on earth have you done?
Short it out again. Why? Why?
What have you done?
Just put a header in this. Because you're never going to get that back out again. But
Yeah. We've got pliers, we can do that.
why?
Yeah.
Why is this?
my soldering is not going well, Sandy.
It's probably just because it's a Pi Zero and it's not very. It doesn't cope very well with kind of spikes and.
Yeah, but
current.
is it rebooting? Continue? No, it's rebooting.
Yeah.
But this
Um,
isn't even just a spike; it's just dying dead. Right, watch. Oh, it's gone.
My soldering is atrocious here.
Why is that
I
happening?
should say if this all goes horribly wrong, we've got one set up already that we can just demo.
No.
And we learn from our mistake.
So
Yeah, when I put that on, it just the video goes. Oh no, it's working now.
Yeah,
Right.
these hammer headers are not. I think between that and the lead-free solder,
it's probably because they've
I've got
got.
enough tools to blame, but it's not my fault.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a larger surface area because of the way that
No, it's kind of kicking in now.
they probably act as more of a heat sink.
I think I might have.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Because basically the hammer headers have got like
There we go.
if you imagine the eye of a needle, they've got a bit like that where
No, it's happening now, Sandy.
the pin goes through the hole in the PCB to kind of hold it in. So that's going to have a much larger surface area and probably soak up a bit more heat from your iron.
Yeah, I just don't
Um,
know. It's vexing me slightly.
I may or may not have corrupted the SD card. It's just rebooting.
I should say as well, actually, the cork mat that we're soldering on, that is from IKEA. They make really good soldering mats. I think
Oh,
they
these
cost.
are the pan stands, aren't they?
Yeah, they cost about £1.50 for a pack of 3, I think. And they're meant for like a hot pan or something to sit on. But they actually make really good soldering mats. The other thing that's good is if you have any old tiles, they work really well.
Cool. Yeah. You get some
What
really
speaker
pretty
test?
designs of tiles as well,
Yeah, yeah.
because they more or less inkjet print on tiles these days for some designs. What are you doing, Phil? What are you doing?
You're still on the one that's.
I just want to test the software actually works. Then we can start
Yeah,
So-
we can actually. Yeah, let's.
start programming on this.
Yeah,
Is that shut down? Yeah, it should.
yeah.
Unplug all the things, plug in the things, and convert to the other thing. Hold on, man. Ah. Oh dear. God, if only they'd come up with one cable standard that had video, power, and USB out for it.
USB-C.
So they have. It'll be really nice when we get kind of dev boards that have USB-C on it. Just go
Yeah.
done. Straight into your really expensive £300 USB-C dock with 2 screens connected to it or something.
I think
mad
the problem
like
is USB-C is a bit of a.
that. It
kind of-
is a minefield, yes.
Yeah, a bit of a hand wavy spec.
I was reading something about the Nintendo Switch implementation of it, which is basically just, we'll do what we want. I think
Yeah.
they've found a loophole by using a very, very obscure subset of DisplayPort so that they can still be to the letter of the spec, but totally exclude all devices that would otherwise be compatible.
I use my MacBook USB-C mains adapter in the switch dock, and then I plugged the switch into it, and it said, "I do not care for this power supply. Use the official one that I like."
Get out!
Yeah.
I imagine the Switch uses a fair old bit of power, though.
It does, but the MacBook also uses it.
That is true.
I think it would have survived, basically.
It's alright, please test when you don't actually call it correctly.
But the thing was, the
It's quite
MacBook
nice.
charger works fine for just generally charging not in the dock. It was only in the dock that it refused to use it.
Well, that's actually quite handy, I suppose, because it gives you one charger you can use to charge both things on the
And if you use the Apple USB-C to female USB-A adapter, the one that is basically the dongle to plug like standard USB things into your laptop,
Yep.
if you plug that into the charger, then you can charge things with like a standard USB cable.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I think between the Switch, the Google Pixel, and the MacBook, I've kind of got 3 different manufacturers using the USB-C in my life, which is good.
so is that working, Phil?
Recognise sample formats. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. What's the rate? Well, I saw an R on the left. Where's the R gone?
So what are you configuring now?
Right. Stream rate in hertz.
If you
What are you
Usage.
configuring now, Phil?
Oh, I'm
Talk us
turning
through
to
it.
help. I'm just messing with speaker tests to see if I
Okay.
can get a speaker test, but I've forgotten the actual. Use the given web file as a test.
I think
file.
-W, and then if you give it the location of a file, which is / etc /
Is it?
something /
Doesn't it do that thing where it says front left, front right, front left, front right, front left?
Please,
right.
somebody in chat put us out of our misery.
You could just download the WAV file that I've
Okay, where's your WAV file?
right.
Have you given the URL to it?
So if you do
This is fun.
wget -o minus uppercase O, sorry,
Yeah.
beep.wave, then http /2plJYK uppercase T.
Memorable.
Diddy.
There we go. There we go. So that's our annoying beep noise that is going to be played by the Python script. Or you can just do what Phil's doing. But the good thing about doing it with Python is you can
Phil could
introduce a random delay. So basically, you can have you can say minimum delay is 10 seconds, maximum delay is 2 minutes or something like that. Because obviously, if you had it going every 2 seconds, then it would be quite obvious that you could find it quite easily. Whereas if it beeps at a random kind of interval that's a bit longer, then it's harder to find where it's coming from.
And volume as well. 'Cause then
Yeah, that's true.
So-
People are currently lambasting us for being out of stock of everything, which is a very fair point.
Right. So
We
let's,
totally recognise that this is in fact a thing.
Yeah, I mean, most of our stuff's in stock. We did a sweep yesterday where we put a load of stuff back in stock, and then a lot of it went back out of stock because people have been waiting for it.
The catch-22
The problem is that it's a good problem to have, but around Christmas and after Christmas, suddenly everybody wanted kind of hats and stuff from us. So a lot of big retailers online have kind of said, "Hey, Pimmeroni, could you give us everything?"
Pimmeroni is small. Pimmeroni is small.
We're getting
People
bigger,
who
but
want
we're
our
relatively
stuff is
small.
very big. Very small Pimmeroni cannot make very big things.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of rude to kind of not give kind of our distributors around the world what they want. So it means sometimes the shop's a little bit out of stock.
Is that off the top of it?
We're working on fixing it.
Sandy's run into where's the top of the code? Just hit enter enough times to see the line of code and Python won't care.
Well, I've basically soldered this really
Still can't
badly.
find it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, we're working through the backlog, and
Where is it? What's going on?
we'll get it sorted, and we'll have everything in stock, and everything will be cool. I mean, G will be strung out and kind of basically
Oh, here we go.
dead, but that's
Right.
okay.
Cool. Right.
My contribution. Now
Right.
people can see.
So, did we install Pygame?
Yes,
Yes,
I think that I did install Pygame.
Right. So, we're going to import 3 different libraries. Time, which allows us to introduce a delay. Random, which allows you to do various to generate random numbers, basically.
And then import NumPy as NP.
Yeah. Well, thanks to DigKey being in chat there. Yeah, one of the people kind of going and looking at our stuff and going,
Yeah.
which we're very grateful for.
So I've imported Time, Random, and Pygame. Pygame is kind of a huge Python library that does lots of things. One of which is the ability to play sound files. It's really handy for
used
that.
in
So
Drum Hat and Piano Hat.
drum
for
hat and
example.
piano hat, yeah.
It has a mixer and could do multiple simultaneous sounds.
So what I've done is I've called pygame.init and pygame.mixer.init. So the mixer is where you can specify things like sample rate, number of speakers, all that kind of thing.
Les is going from random import randint.
Yeah.
No, mate.
So
We had a discussion this morning about the merits and drawbacks of aliasing imported modules in Python. So we had some examples that said import
NumPy?
speaker fat. It's
Four-letter fat.
4-letter fat as FLP, and I came across them and went, change, import speaker fat, because it's ambiguous. Basically,
Someone's
no
gonna say
need
quotes.
to make things ambiguous.
It's not the best practice. Yeah, I think the one we saw was import NumPy as
Yeah,
NP.
that's systemic. Like import NumPy as NP is systemic, and I have no idea
Yeah.
why. It's
Even on the NumPy site.
it's an
right?
anti-practice.
Yeah.
You're basically aliasing a module which has a known and common name to 2 letters,
Yeah.
so that you can make it impossible to find a replace across your code base. And then
So-
there's people who post. I could go on and on for this, but there's people who post answers in Stack Exchange that are 2-line answers. The first line is import numpy as NP, and the second line is NP dot something. If they just used numpy, you wouldn't need to stipulate that you have to import numpy as NP, because it would be obvious what you're doing.
it's like that Family Guy episode. You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah.
What really grinds my gears?
Yeah. So anyway, Phil's going to go through his code, self-flagellating and taking out the word
Yeah,
as
this
and
is
anything
what it
that
is.
comes after it. And then
I
fixing
do
what goes
frequently
wrong.
go back over my code and go, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
And then gut it and change
Apart
it.
from anything using NumPy, where you're going to go through and do import NumPy as numerical Python.
Library module that facilitates the working of numbers and things of that nature
Oh.
that math geeks use. Oh, what?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that unless you.
What?
Where's it gone?
Yeah. Swap seats again.
What?
I'll just save that.
Yeah. So, in a word, I've zoomed the screen so people on the internet can actually see what you're doing,
Oh, okay.
which means that people can't see when it's at the top of the screen. So what I'd have to do is kind of
Getting rather warm in here.
pan the Y and take the crop of the Y off. There we go.
Here we go.
So we lose me and Phil
Everyone's
again.
with me.
And you can start
NumPy as
biting.
NumPy is a ranty
Okay.
anti-pattern. Ranty anti-pattern.
There you go. Do you want your crib book?
Yes, please.
There you
I
go.
feel I
think
need
I've-
to sit exactly central so that I'm perfectly
Wow,
balanced.
Did you just put a load of new lines in here so you
Yeah.
could see stuff?
Yes,
That's really
yes,
awesome.
we did.
Python, yeah.
Oh, I can't see.
Python likes white space, but it doesn't want to make it a thing.
If any 3-year-olds are watching, peekaboo!
Oy vey, I need more coffee. Hey, Sandy's left coffee here. That's
Right,
okay.
so that's me written all the code now. So
Excellent.
we've imported some stuff. We've initiated the Pygame and the Pygame mixer. We have loaded in the sound with pygame.mixer. dot sound, and then the path to the wave file. We've set two variables. One is a min delay, which is 5, so that's going to be 5 seconds. The max delay is 30 seconds. If you're actually doing this, I would recommend that you make it like the min delay maybe 20 seconds, the max delay something like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like
many
that.
times.
So 5 times 60. And then I've got a while true loop, so that's basically just going to run forever. And then we've got delay equals random.randint, so that's what Les was saying. Random.randint, if you give it two numbers, then it will basically give you a random integer between those two numbers. So if you do random.randint 1, 10, then it will give you a random integer between 1 and 10, inclusive.
I was going to say, is it inclusive or exclusive? Who knows?
Then we've got beep.play, so we called our wave file beep. The sound that we loaded, we called that beep. So a variable called beep. So we call beep.play to actually play that sound. Then we've got time.sleep, which is the command for a delay, basically just kind of wait and do nothing. And then we've passed that delay, which is our variable that's going to be the random number between 5 and 30. So that'll just run constantly. So it'll play the sound, wait for a random amount of time, then generate another random number, then play the sound again, ad infinitum.
So you could add multiple different sounds into a list and use random.choice as well.
Exactly, yeah, that'd be a good thing
has
to do.
many benefits.
Yep. So different kinds of bleeps, just to kind of mix
I
things
still
up.
think we should submit an upstream patch to crontab to add a random. Just run this at random interval.
There's probably a way
Hi.
to do it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use crontab, my favourite Linux program. And we're going to do crontab
Hold on.
minus E.
Let me hold up a ruler so you can get
Actually,
the
what we'll
line.
do first is we'll just test that this actually works.
Okay.
There we go. Right, so it's beeped, and then presumably it'll wait a random amount of time, which shouldn't be too long.
Presumably the longest time.
It's probably going to be 30, just
Yeah.
Murphy's Law.
I think today we're quite sanguine about time. We've numbled quite a bit. But in the best possible way.
It's not beeping, Sandy. How long is 30 seconds?
Is it going to beep again, or is it? Yeah, it's presumably not crashed.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Right, so it must have been 30 seconds. That's what are the chances?
You know
of
what
that?
really grinds my
1 in
gears?
25.
Waiting for 30 seconds.
So now we'll do crontab minus E. So crontab minus E is to edit your crontab. If it's the first time you've run it, it will give you a choice of editors. I tend to just use Nano because it's really easy. If you're some kind of sadist, then you can use Vim if you want.
Of course, if it's the second time you've run it, you're probably typing crontab-r by mistake and deleting your crontab.
So it's got a bunch of comments at the top. Go all the way down to the bottom, or don't do it at the top. Whatever. And then the command you want is at. Is that an at?
That is an at. I'm sure that's an
At reboot.
It's either an at or a hash, and it doesn't look like a hash.
And then we'll do sudo because I've not. I tend just to do sudo because it covers all the bases really. And then the full path to the file /home/pi/Annoy-O-Tron.py, and then I'll run it in the background just because.
You'd like it to finish booting.
And then Control X, and then Y for yes, and then Enter,
Like it needs.
and then it'll say install new cron tab. So now, if we unplug everything, and then
that SD card can
just
get more
imagine it's been
corrupted.
plugged into a USB slot. In fact, there's one in the tablet that we could
Oh,
use.
you're going to risk it for a biscuit.
Yeah, let's try it. So
Yes, that's very subtle. No one will ever notice that.
so that's now plugged in, so it should boot up.
That's the activity lights.
Let's snap that up. So that's very close to the microphone, so you might want to turn your volume down slightly. There we go.
Should be fine.
So that's it. Ta-da!
You now have your own Annoy-O-Tron, annoying away.
So now if you really hate someone, you can plug that into the back of their computer.
You don't have to hate them.
You don't
just
have
have
to
to have a passion for mildly irritating people,
Mm.
like politicians.
Yep.
If you don't want to use the zero stem, then you can obviously just use a little short USB cable.
It's arguably a little stealthier because you could run a cable and then you could just hide the thing somewhere else where it's at. Like in the back of your Mac, you find it pretty quickly because it's a big obvious thing sticking out. But if I ran a cable and stuck it down behind your where wouldn't you find it if I hid it behind a computer?
You could get one of those
Asking for a
USB
friend.
mains faceplates and put it inside there. That would be proper top level
actually
troll.
solder it into the wall, you mean? Just like
Yeah.
through the faceplate, hide the pie behind it.
Yeah, it'd be one of those. I can't find my server. I physically can't find it. I can ping it, but I don't know where it is. Yep.
It's been built under the floor.
We found a WAV file that was the kind of speaker interference you get from mobile phones. You know when it goes.
That'd be great.
That was quite a good one actually. That would make a really good one because people would be kind of switching their TV off, trying to stop it.
Why is my
and
phone
yeah.
interfering? What's happening?
And alert sounds for popular phone operating systems are also good.
We had a dial-up connection sound as well, but probably no one these days would know what it was, so that's probably not
Of course
No
they
idea.
would.
probably not the best one to choose.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's that. We'll make the code available somewhere. I'll write a tutorial so
Yep.
that people don't have to kind of pause the YouTube stream and
Zoom it in and
How,
just
how long did it take us? We were multi-threading, but I'm guessing this is like an hour project.
Yeah,
tops.
about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's even if you're doing it badly. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you very much for watching us namble through this. Get yourself a tote and an on-off shim right now.
Yes.
And don't forget to like, subscribe and all that. And
And
share it with
comment.
your friends. Yeah. And tell us more of your shim ideas.
Skype calls.
It's nice to
sound
see
on it.
people actually really
I
want
hate
something
the Skype calls.
that's simple and cheap and just goes on a pie. But yeah. Okay. That's what I was told. Cool. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah. See you next
Bye-bye.
week. Bye.